Hi guys, it's Sarah with Something's Pretty Special, and I just wanted to come on today and share with you some Christmas cards. Now, these are cards that I have made, and then some were where I went to my local crafty group with a couple of my close to my heart demonstrators that I am really good friends with, and things that I've made at their events, all of which they've said it's okay for me to share online. So first up, I have this one where the brown paper is embossed and I did some stamping and layering, and then the inside of this one is just blank. This is another one using an older close to my heart stamp set with some paper layering and inking on the edges, and then here we just kind of ruffle folded the paper along the border there, and the inside of that one is blank as well. And then this one's a little different as far as shape, and I think I might try and recreate some cards using this shape this year. So it's an ornament stamp and it just says feelin'. And then what's cool about this card is it's a vertical card, and so you open that up and then the bottom part opens and there's some stamping down there, and then the rest of the sentiment in here, and it'll be real easy to just write, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and sign it. So I really like this shape, and I think this year I'm going to make some more cards using that shape. So those were from my close to my heart ladies. And then these are actually a couple more from my friend Lisa, who does close to my heart. So we just layered up some paper to look like gifts with some bows. This bow got a little smushed, so I've got to refluff it. And it says Merry Christmas at the bottom, and the inside's blank. We did this one with just the paper layering and some washi tape. And then we did some stamping across the top here, stamped the sentiment, and I think this little banner was stamped as well. And the inside on that one is blank. And this is just the same one. So I actually sent these cards out last year, and these are the 3 that I had left. So thank you, Lisa. And then these were some that I just kind of just made on my own. I was just trying to use up some of these layered stickers that I had from ages ago in my stash from Michaels. And so I just layered up some pattern paper and just kind of put the sticker on there. And I think this paper collection was one I got at Tuesday Morning. I think it's American Crafts, but I don't know if I remember the name or anything. Like I said, a lot of these were really just trying to use up supplies that are in my stash, things that I've picked up on clearance at Tuesday Morning, and like dollar spot cards from Target, just all sorts of stuff I was ready to work through. On the inside of this one, I've matted in red, and I can either stamp a sentiment inside, or I can put like a Project Life card, or I can just handwrite a sentiment. And then there's this one. This is when I was kind of experimenting when I first got some of my punches and dies. And again, I just took a doily and sprayed it with some Glimmer Mist, you know, Lindy Stamp Gang sprays, whatever type of sprays I had, and layered it with some paper and made a little banner out of it. And then the sock is covered in glossy accents. And then this one, I did layer some cut-aparts from a paper collection in there. And this one's the same, it's just a little bit different. I mix and match when I did the socks, like I mix and match tops and bottoms, but the same general layout. And then I just another layer from the cut-aparts in the paper pad I was using. And then these are probably my favorite cards. These were super, super simple to do. This plaid card base I got at the dollar spot at Target, and I've had them in my stash for a long time. So I just took a piece of white cardstock and I used some rectangle dies with the stitching, and I just picked a shape that kind of nestled inside the card size. I then took the circle with the stitching dies and I just cut out the various circles. I used some thin washi tape that I had, and I just cut it into really thin strips to use as like the ornament string. And then I just glimmer misted, or not glimmer misted, what's the word? Those glitter pens, the shimmer pens and stickles just on the ornaments, or some white dots like enamel dots with the Nuvo drops. And then I just stamped my sentiment and embossed it with some gold embossing powder, and voila, super quick card. These were really easy to make assembly line style because I was able to just, through my die cutting machine, cut out all the rectangles and the circles. And then I was able to just layer on all the washi strips, you know, glue on the circles, do all the stamping. Like I could do it in big batches where I could, using my MISTI tool, I could stamp everything 15 times and emboss it and be done. I could cut out all the circles and the rectangles and be done with that phase, and then assembly just went really, really quick. So something like this would be great if you had to mass produce cards. And that's actually what I did with these. I used up, I think the whole pack, and I only, like the whole pack of 20 cards, and I only had 2 left. And I just, whatever paper scraps I had, I just picked different papers for the ornaments. And then some I stamped and embossed in gold, some I stamped in black, and then used Nuvo drops again for the stars. So I was able to do kind of like half one way, half the other, which was great. And they came with a red envelope, so I think these are really fun. So these will probably go out this year as well. And then the last thing I did is, there is a wonderful lady here on YouTube named Christy Marcotte, and her YouTube channel is Christy Marcotte, and she does these amazing tutorials, or not tutorials, but these amazing videos where she uses an entire 6x6 paper pad and makes, you know, 40 or 50 cards, kind of using that whole paper pad. And she also has a blog, and her blog is always linked in her video profiles, like below in the description box. And on the blog is where she'll give all the sketches that she used and all the measurements, like what she figured out the measurements are for an A2 card. And so I started following her blog, and so using her blog is where I got the ideas for this batch of cards here. So I want to show that with you, but I just want to make it clear that I did use her blog to get the sketches, and I used her dimensions. I used whatever paper and stuff I had on hand, but as far as like the design of the card, it came from her blog. And I don't know the name of her blog, but if you go to her YouTube channel, Christy Marcotte, it's always linked in the description box below her videos, where you can go to her blog and see all of her posts that she does about her cards. So, and I kind of just mass produced these again because they were really easy to mass produce once you knew the dimensions and what you were cutting. So this is the first one I did, and it was just like matting the pattern paper on some black cardstock and then layering it up. And then again, I took my stitch circle dies and I just cut out the nested sizes here, and I did the stamping in the middle with some red embossing, and that's that card. And then I just stamped inside using my MISTI. It was really easy to just put them all in and just do a bunch of kind of assembly line stamping again for the sentiment. And I just varied what paper scraps I had left or what paper I was able to use, but it all came from the general collection. And I think they all have the same sentiment inside. And what's fantastic about her blog posts is that they give, usually she gives like 3 or 4 out of a 12 by 12, or not 12 by 12, oh my gosh, 6x6 paper pad. She'll usually use like 4 or 5 card sketches. So one blog post, you really can get, you know, 4 or 5 sketches that are really work, and I love looking at her blog. So this was another sketch that she had up. And then for this red paper, I wanted to use some embossing, so I used one of my embossing folders. And I, again, just layered up the paper following the sketch. And then for my sentiment, I just used what stamps I had that kind of fit the shape that was needed here. And I embossed them with gold. And that was the sentiment in this one. And I just mixed it up again with what paper I had, what scraps I had available. And there's that one. Let me see if I can get this open. I'm pretty sure all the sentiments are the same, yeah. And there's that one. That. And then this is the last, well, So I think these last ones are very similar to the first design that we did here, but I was kind of running out of paper scraps, so I just tweaked it a little bit and just layered up some paper and I had to do a smaller circle because this was the stamp I had to use, or I wanted to use, I should say. And then that's the inside of that. And so depending on the stamp I was using, I kind of just varied the size of my circle here, but the rest of the card design is pretty much the same. And that's the inside of that one. And then there's that one. Whoops, let me see if I can get it open. So those are all my Christmas cards that I have done so far. And I'm not sure how many I'm sending out, but I think this might do it, at least for my family and friends. And then I will probably be back to share a batch that I am making for my coworkers. And I am super excited to have a big jump start on my Christmas cards this year. Thanks you guys for watching, and I hope you are having a wonderful holiday season. Bye.